Welcome to Subramani. Uh, I'm going to talk to you today about the role of bloggers as the conscience keepers of Dalal Street or even the Main Street. Uh, is Dalal Street heartless? Is it without a soul? Are doctors heartless? Are they without a soul? Uh, has it become a no man's land for those who give a damn? Is every employee and every regulator worried only about cover your ass rather than really doing justice to the end small investor? The answer seems to be yes, a resounding yes. That brings us to another question. Has the press completely given up its mandate to do something good for the non-advertising real viewer? Is it meant for the viewer, or are they just meant to pander to the whims and fancies of the paying advertiser, right? These are questions which come up for everybody, and then you realize that there are still some bloggers and vloggers left in the world who are trying to become a conscience of the Wall Street or Dalal Street and of the Main Street also, because let me quote Norman Cousins, right? He says, nothing is more powerful than an individual acting on his own conscience, thus helping to bring the collective conscience to life. Really, if there is no incentive for a person but just to act on his conscience and say what he wants, exactly how he wants to say it, and mean what he means, a group of such people keep the conscience of the country, keep the conscience of the company, keep the conscience of Dalal Street, everything, right? So there are, I can give you a lot of examples of people who are doing this, but I do not want to name any Indian website or blog or person in this, because for everybody, when they are doing something, there is some vested interest, some which you can see, some which you can't see. Everybody has some product to sell, right? If I am doing this free for you, first of all, I'm very happy that you're giving me your time, and second, I know that you will come and buy one of my books or you will attend one of my lectures. I have not done a lecture for a long time. So there is some product which all of us want to sell. Apart from that, there can also be plants. For example, I can sit here and talk about a particular brokerage house or about a particular scheme of a mutual fund or a forthcoming NFO or an IPO, or see how fantastic this scheme is. I could even talk about running and say how great this shoe is, right? Any of those things which I do, there is a potential payment possible for it. The minute you take a payment for any product, then you compromise, and then there'll be more products, then there'll be more compromises. Then I can start by saying, no, I will say only what I really believe, and then slowly the money comes in and it plays a role. Can you find any personal finance website where there is no gain at all for the person to do it, except get more viewership, get more respect, and perhaps something like that? I can't think of any website like this. Every website is trying to gather AUM or sell something. I mean, I am trying to sell my books, I am trying to sell my lectures. I don't have any other product to sell, but every other person who comes on television, whether he's from India, whether he's from Singapore, whether he's from Dubai or US, they're all trying to collect AUM, right? There has to be visibility. So investors feel, oh, this guy is so great that he's being called by the media. So some visibility is necessary, so they are there. Then there is also personal ego. But largely, you find that when somebody comes and gives a view on something, whether it is on television, whether it is on own videos and blogs, there is some sense of AUM gathering from which they make fees. Because if really these investors were so confident of themselves, they should just be investing their own money. Why do they manage other people's money and collect fees, right? They could be on Twitter, they could be on vlogs, they could be on blogs, they could be anywhere, right? So if a person talks about investing and making money on investing, the question to ask is, has he really made money on investing, or has he made money on managing investments? Because most of the people who come have made much more money managing investments than their own investments, right? Because the management fee is good. So there are people like James Altucher, who does go and look at his blog and preaching a daily sermon of failure and success to the masses. So go and read. He writes on a lot of topics other than investment also, so please read. It's like Farnham Street, right? There's a lot of things that they write about which are useful for you if you want to be a good investor. A lot of my friends who are in the industry call me and say, wow, you're tweeting so bravely. That's simply because there is nothing at stake for me. I can afford to say exactly what I want, because I want to do 4 or 5 days training a month that I'm able to get anyway. And I really don't have to, I'm not answerable to any regulator or a boss or somewhere whose AUM gathering is going to be heard. So to me it does not matter what I say, whereas they are well in service cannot say that. It is not that they don't have money, but they've got addicted to a lifestyle which requires that money, so which means they are not going to give everything up just to be on Twitter or just to vlog, right? So can we say whatever we want, all of it is written? See, all that which I am saying is said with passion, said with interest, said with your interest in mind that you should learn what you are doing. I will not give answers. People ask me which is a good share to buy. I'd rather teach you fishing rather than give you a fish. Go learn how to do. If you don't, then there is always a mutual fund. If you don't want to do that also, there is always an index fund, which is also a mutual fund. But largely, yes, you can just fill it, fit it, forget it types, and you will get some return better than your bank deposits. Don't expect to get a fantastic alpha and this and that without putting in much effort of your own. That's the only thing I have to say. I mean, I am as much anti ULIP buying as I am against ULIP selling. If you do not want to even read about the product, understand the product, you just want to buy and then say what is the regulator doing, that's ridiculous, because all the details are available. A lot of people have said a lot about the products. I mean, you have to buy term insurance. Doesn't mean you buy term insurance with return of premium. That is exactly what people do. Now you have to understand that to protect your money, you have to take interest. We are all here, we can help you. All this is said with feeling and with passion, but there is no immediate financial reward for me to do this. Yes, I might get more viewers, I might get more subscribers, etc., but doesn't really help in financially. Will I make money on the ads? Yes, I will make. How much money will I make? $10, maybe $12 a day. That's not a small amount of money, but it is not big enough to swing the needle and say, wow, this is a full-time job. It is not. It is just a passion. You get up in the morning, you shoot, and then you wonder how people will react, but you still put it on, right? Can we say it professionally? Can we say it personally? And most important, can it be permanent? Can I just be on record and after 5 years, 10 years, 7 years, maybe after I'm dead, will somebody say this was wrong because my podcasts or my vlogs are undated, and at any point in time you should be able to see this. Can we be cribbing about it? Can I be criticizing something about the mutual fund industry? Make no mistake, mutual fund industry has generated a lot of wealth for a lot of subscribers to it, a lot of unit holders, a lot of agents, a lot of trainers like me, right? It has definitely generated a lot of wealth, but there is still a lot to be improved upon. So when I'm saying bad things about mutual fund industry, please understand that is less than 5% of the industry's problems. Their industry has other problems, but I'm not pointing out enough of the problems because there are a lot of good things also. So if I'm not pointing out the good things, I have no business pointing out the bad things. But yes, this is a great place for me to come and say so-and-so compromised, so-and-so shares were bought, so-and-so shares were overweight in one fund, they shouldn't have had so much, right? Those kind of views I can take and I can say it here, whereas the fund manager cannot. He has to worry about his boss. He has to worry about what the regulator will think. At this point in time, say February 2021, if you ask me, I have no clue where to invest the money for debt. I mean, savings bank account or your bank savings bank accounts in some private banks which were giving 7%, now they've reduced it to 6%. To me, that looks very good. And so, should I put money in liquid? Should I put money in credit risk? Should I put money anywhere there? I do not know, but I also know that over the next year at least, interest rates are more likely to go up rather than go down. So there is no great potential appreciation possible. And the yields are pretty low, maybe 3%, 3.5%. So if you're talking of 3.5% minus say 1% for expenses, or at least 0.75 for expenses, there is really nothing much left, because after that, if interest rates go up, and this whole fund falls by 0.5% also, completely wipes out whatever gain you would have made over 1 year. So a debt call is very difficult to take at this point in time. Even equity call is very difficult, because most of the world markets are roaring, except perhaps Europe is not roaring as much as the others. But yes, China is up, Japan is up, US is up, India is up. So what compromise do you do? No fund manager can say, I do not know where to invest. So he will have to give you some answer. He'll have to say, there is always value available somewhere and no value is lost somewhere. So those kind of things will have to happen. The press does not say what has to be said. The press says that in a very convoluted way, and there are sponsored programs. You do not even realize that complete compromise on what should be said is already being made, because it's a sponsored thing. Is it possible for you to get a sponsor who is an insurance company, and then you say index fund works best and take index fund and term insurance? It doesn't work that way, right? So somebody has to have the heart and the soul to say all those things. So many bloggers can have, but you have to make sure that the blogger is not really collecting AUM. Somebody has to fill the vacuum of compassion. Somebody has to say all those things. So yes, here it is. And who else can fill this vacuum? Really, any ex-professional, ex-journalist and all can come and talk about it, right? I have not been an insider. I have not worked inside a mutual fund, so I do not know much about NAV manipulation and portfolio manipulation. Though I keep hearing these things, I really don't know. But I can talk a lot about the sales process, right? How it is sold, how fund managers and CIOs who have no business in talking about asset allocation talk a lot about asset allocation, and they don't just say you should do asset allocation. They don't say how you should do asset allocation. They say do asset allocation and therefore buy this product. That to me is a sales talk. It is not asset allocation. Asset allocation means sitting with the client, understanding the client, and then doing asset allocation, choosing the funds. Again, it is not for the CEO of a mutual fund to come and choose which fund in which you should be investing. They will talk exactly about the product which they are going to launch. So if they are launching a ESG fund, they will talk of importance of ESG. If they are talking a healthcare fund, they will talk about how important is healthcare. That is their job. They are sales people. Don't expect them to be consultants. It's a consultant with whom you have to sit and decide, right? So these things are not something which any television channel or anybody is going to tell you. It is left to bloggers to tell you all this. And far more importantly, bloggers are only like the index, right? I'm just like the index. I'm telling you these are things which you should know. I can't go in depth. I'm not a registered investment advisor. I can't tell you which share to buy, which fund to invest. But I can tell you that there has to be a process. You have to follow the process, and this is what you have to do. And that I think only bloggers without any commercial interest can do. Otherwise, there's a conflict of interest even while talking to you. Look at how much Rihanna got paid for doing that one tweet. She got rupees 18 crores. I'm not translating it to dollars. I'm sure you're smart enough to do that. Is it true? Yes, it is true. And it is also true that I get offers to do plants in my blog and my vlog also. And the best I've been offered is nowhere near 18 crores, but not even near 18 lakhs, but it is about 1 lakh. So there is something which the audience thinks or which the advertisers think is worth coming to. and people like us have to protect ourselves from falling into that corruption. Thank you.